Hey everybody, this is Mike Venus, and I'm back. And this video is in response to DJ Ab's video pertaining to his 808 and Kanye West. I left a comment, started off. This is not trolling. This is not to be taken in any type of way. That's not my intent. My intent is to go more into the topic because I don't know the depth of knowledge that DJ Ab have containing to the topic of chakras and the statement, for him to speak on the statement pertaining to Kanye West's statement about 808s and how that overstimulants of the 808 can create this type of behavior. And when he was making the comparison of the 808 when he was younger to the 808 that's used today. So first, let's start out with this. DJ Ab's video, which was a great video, I'm not gonna lie. When he was talking about sound design, like he made a 808 pack and he was showing how he sound designed his 808s using Fruity Loops, decaps, knock, plug-in, and some other plug-in, and how he was able to take like kicks and add some sub to it and some saturation to create 808s. So that was a great tip because I'm big into sound design. It's part of what I do, and I appreciate that part of the video. But the part of the video that he started to go in about chakras, and he was kind of like wanting to agree with Kanye, but then he kind of disagreed with him. The book he had, that's not, that's an okay book talking about chakras, but if you want to get on the topic about music and how it affects your chakras, then this is the book Sacred Sounds, Music and Healing Through Words and Music, Magic and Healing Through Words and Music by Ted Andrews. This is the book. It's a great book. Great book. Now he goes in depth. Like he go into history, into the science of, vibrations, tones, instruments, and how it affects the chakras and all that. So, excellent book. Short read. It's like, less than 200 pages. It's 200 and 200 and total, 221. That's including the index and the intro and all that. So it's a short read. Book I study, being a person that is big on what I do. I'm a medicine man, so this is part of what I do. I use music to heal people. A lot of my music, this is part of my influence on the different styles that I use when I make music. So, great book. So, getting to the aspect talking about the chakras, right? You got more than 7 chakras, but most books or most knowledge you have out there that's general. It's gonna only mention the 7 chakras, which is your root, sacral, solar plex, heart, throat, brow, and crown. Brow is also known as your third eye. Okay, so if there's no confusion. But certain instruments, certain timbres or sounds that come off of these instruments, the vibrations or frequencies that are generated off of those instruments when struck or plucked or or even sung in these certain notes or tones affect certain energies within your body, right? Through the vibrations and frequencies hitting your spine. So the root chakra, right? Because I ain't gonna make this long. The root chakra is basically is like right at your tailbone, that area, right? So most of the time, the sounds that will stimulate that will be like bass, percussion, brass, basically rhythms, right? So on page 40, it's pretty simple. It says musical interplay with the chakras, base chakra or root chakra. Sacred sounds that balance and stimulate this chakra, the tone of middle C. So if you feel any discomfort or you feel like it's a blockage in your energy down there, you can realign it or stimulate it, hitting the tone of middle C on a piano. They got singing bowls. That's what Janae Aiko uses in her latest album. Or bass and percussive instruments. Okay, and long U vowel sounds. You know, like for people who be doing like chanting and shit, stuff like that. Like when and all that, it's like U vowel sounds helps to activate and balance out that area of the body energy wise. Physical aspects. It is located at the area at the base of the spine. It is tied to the functions of the circular system and the reproductive system and the functions of the lower extremities. It is our base life force center. It influences the activities of the testicles and ovaries, the legs and feet, and the pelvis area of the body, right? Metaphysical aspects. This is our center for life promoting energy. Stimulated properly, it can open an awareness of the past life talents and eases fear. It is the seat of the Kundalini within the body. Emotional, mental attitudes cause or reflecting dysfunction, right? This is kind of like what Kanye was going into, right? This is what happens when it is blocked or overly stimulated, right? Meaning that part of the body is getting hit with too many of these frequencies or too much of this vibration. The person emotionally or mentally, their attitude will be reactive, aggressive, belligerent, manipulative, impulsive, reckless, inability to recognize limits, abrupt, domineering, craving excitement, possessive and territorial, needing approval, acting without thinking, power conscious, consistently active, hyperactive, reluctant to defer gratification, bullying, obsessively sexual. And that's basically in a soundbite more or less what Kanye was saying. Now, like I said, what Kanye was talking about was that it was a difference in the use and the tone of the 808, going back to the original 808 sound of the Roland TR 808 drum machine, right, where that sound comes from, and the use of it today, right? How it was more balanced because the music back then, the percussion wasn't just straight up 808, just bass. It was like bass, your drums and a lot of the higher frequencies, you know, it had a more balanced sound, more or less. You know what I'm saying? Than today's music, which the popular music for today is trap. And trap is a genre of music. Well, we talking about hip hop trap because you got EDM trap, but in that style, it is heaven. Oh, excuse me, heaven. It is heavily dominated by excessive use of the 808. I don't even think most of them even put kicks in it anymore. They just use the 808 and drums and little to no harmonic or maybe slight melodic aspects. So it's already an imbalance, you know. So what happens when a person is over, like, just this is all they listen to, this is all they make all day? They're gonna show these emotional attitudes. It's gonna show in their behavior. And then the rap, they might say, well, trap is like that. Well, let me say this. Being a man that this is what I do, this is part of my purpose as a medicine man, or, healing people. When people, like, let's say the rapper walks in the studio and they hear this type of music, most of their lyrics or the thought that comes to mind is going to be topics or lyrics that reflect those behaviors, because they're being exposed to heavy amounts of low vibrational, low frequency music. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's what Kanye was saying. Now, like I stated before, the man was in a horrific accident that almost killed him when people, back in the day, which can affect the way he process or even explain shit. So I don't personally get triggered or offended by Kanye when he says stuff, keeping in mind that that's what happened to him. You know what I'm saying? So, and then like I said before, DJ Ab, him bringing this out is cool because it's a topic that needs to be touched on, but he's not going to go in depth really, or even try to, more or less agree with Kanye, because a lot of the music that he puts on his platform or he promotes or teach is 808 heavy bass driven music. So, he doesn't want to upset his audience, and I understand. But me, I don't fucking care. So, you can flame me or whatever the hell you want to do. I don't give a damn. I don't have no control over your platform, nor do you have control over mine. Just throwing that out there for anybody that might get offended. I don't fucking care. But that is the point. The point is that when you play, or like I said, you make that type of music that's heavily bass driven, you're going to get that type of energy from people. And it's going to show up in their emotions when they're mentally or emotionally affected by overstimulants of their root chakra with heavy bass and a lot of percussion. Okay? So hopefully that clarifies some stuff, that you learned something, whoever watched this. But yeah, personally, I don't do trap. I can make trap, but I don't vibe with me. It's too low vibe. And knowing my responsibility or my calling, I'm not gonna put that on people. I'm not gonna, have that on my conscience of over, creating this type of energy just because I can collect a check. Cause yeah, some people do, some people don't. It is what it is. So with that, hopefully you learned something. Like I said, this is a great read. You should probably go and get this book as well, so you can kind of understand how music, instruments, frequencies affect people on all levels, and learn some history about music and how it was used, and not just for entertainment, but for, spiritual purposes as well, because that is important. So with that, I'm Mike Venus. Y'all be blessed. Till next time, Mike out.